Hey, so today I'm sharing a collective thrift haul. I'm really excited about this one because I've been holding on to this stuff for what feels like months. Some of this stuff I got honestly 6 months ago, and I just haven't gotten around to sharing it with you. So I feel like I get the question all the time, all across my socials, where do you thrift? Like, where can I find what you find? And the reality is, like, you can find stuff anywhere, and I think this haul is a testament to that because I have stuff from like a random church rummage sale, a garage sale, the Goodwill bins, which are like a whole nother thing that I might do a separate video about, and then just other local thrift stores. So I feel like the trick is to just like always be thrifting, which could be good and bad. I don't thrift super often anymore because I have a small place and I try not to be shopping all the time, but I have found some treasures even though I don't thrift as much as I used to. So let's get into it. It's a beautiful summer day. I have the front door open and the windows open. So if you hear airplanes or birds, that's why, but we're just going with it. So the first few things I got, like I said, were from a church rummage sale, super random, but there was a huge one in my neighborhood a few months ago. And I got these Sunset books. So Sunset is like a magazine, right? But I love their vintage decor books. So these are actually both about landscaping, and although they're from like the 70s, I feel like a lot of the info in here is still relevant to me. I mentioned this in another video that I'm really trying to make this rental feel like home and feel cozy, and I feel like a great way to make a space feel cozy is to fill it with books that you love. I have them just stacked under one of my lamps in the living room, and I think they just add a nice level of texture to this space. Sunset also has some really great books. You can find vintage books and magazines about travel, and I feel like those are fun. Even if you were to buy some vintage books and like rip out some pages and frame them, that's like a really great way to find inexpensive art. But yeah, these were a great find. Also at that rummage sale, I got a few really beautiful vintage textiles. So I will grab just like these single, I think this was like obviously like a napkin or maybe even a placemat. I'll buy singles like this when I find them, you know, when I'm thrifting, because I use them for gift wrap. I actually had another one that was maroon that I already wrapped a gift in for Mother's Day and gave to my mother-in-law. So these are just great if you're trying to reduce your disposable waste. Just keeping a few really beautiful linens on hand are a great way to wrap a gift. The last thing I got from that rummage sale is actually outside, so I'll take you out there right now. It's this little red shelf that I wanted to get for outside because we have some little gardening tools that are usually just like on the floor. And so I loved that I was able to corral them and put them on this little shelf. I loved that I was able to find something for this use that wasn't new. Like I always say, so much has already been created. So if you can find something secondhand, it's a great way to, you know, potentially upgrade your space and just not create any new trash. Okay, up next, I'm gonna share some stuff that I recently got. This was just last weekend at a garage sale. So I got this huge, I think it's a tablecloth, but it's just this really pretty kind of beige and white gingham fabric. It has a stain on it, like a paint stain. Where is it? Right here. And if I'm being honest, I already washed this, but I didn't notice that stain when I bought this, so I was really upset when I saw that. But then I'm over it now because I decided that I'm going to cut these into napkins. And maybe even some produce bags. So this is like a pretty hefty bunch of fabric. It feels like a cotton linen blend, and I got it for $2, which is cheaper than anything that I'd be able to find locally, even at a thrift store. So I feel like this is a great buy. Like I said, I'm gonna sew it into napkins. This is not in my fall or autumn color palette, but I just still have a hard time passing up vintage. There's a name for this, like a single stitch sweatshirt. I don't know, I'll put the word in, but I love vintage sweatshirts like that. This is a port in Washington State I discovered after Googling, but I got this for $2, super cute. And then I also got a pair of sunglasses that I might sell on Poshmark or give to someone, but they are from Crap Eyewear, which I feel like I get ads for all the time. These were like $80 new, and I got them for $2, so I don't know. They're kind of cute, but I might sell them. So anyway, I just thought that was a really good find. Okay, now let's move on to my estate sale finds. This is kind of random, but I was so excited when I found this. So again, going back to the like cozy kind of fun home decor, I found this vintage puzzle that I was gonna give to a family member that likes puzzles, but I just love the typography on this. I love the photo is so beautiful. It just reminds me of something that would be like in a Wes Anderson movie. So I actually put this on our little bookshelf over there and just love it. I honestly don't love puzzles. I'm not a puzzle person. Just my brain doesn't compute with puzzles, but I love this packaging. And the little tin lid is so cute. And this was $1. Can't go wrong there. What else did I get? Okay, so this is another estate sale find. I have my laundry quarters in it, but it's just this little silver dish that was like 25 cents. And I was gonna give this to a friend originally, but then like I mentioned, I started using it for my laundry. And it's just so cute. It just kind of elevates that experience of having to do my laundry in a public laundromat. This wasn't from an estate sale, but I thrifted this several years ago and gave it to my sister-in-law, and she just recently gave it back to me. And I was thinking, like, why did I ever give this away? This is so cute. I love how it opens like this. Boop. And it's just this really beautiful tooled leather vintage bag. And I love it. And I'm excited to have it again. Okay, and then the last thing I got there's two other things that I got at this estate sale. This is kind of random, but my favorite room at an estate sale of like a vintage estate sale of like maybe an older person's house is the office room. I feel like there's always like an incredible huge desk, like the ones that are made out of metal, and I feel like the fixtures in there are always just my favorite. So anyway, I have been looking for a way to organize my paper a little bit better, and I was watching a video from the Minimal Mom, and she had this system that she uses that's a 3-tier paper organizing system. And I'll link that video in case you're interested, but basically you have an area to process, a to-do or an action area, and then a time will tell area. And again, I'll link that video and you can watch her describe it. But she uses just like one of those plastic like acrylic containers from Target probably, and those are cool, and I actually see a lot of that stuff at the thrift store, so you can find that secondhand, but I wanted something that fit my vibe a little bit more, and so I found this little vintage, and again it like looks, in this context it looks weird, but it's cute, okay, and I'm excited about it. So it's just this metal tiered organizer, and I've been using it. I took all my papers out of it to show you, but I've been using it for my paper organization, and it's been working really well. And I just love the idea of finding something secondhand instead of just like going to Target, going to Amazon and finding like a new plastic item. We also randomly got a fireproof safe at an estate sale. I wanted something fireproof, not for like all the valuables that we have because we don't have that many, but like for paperwork and important like photos and like notes and stuff that I wouldn't want to burn up in a fire. And again, buying that secondhand is something I feel like maybe people don't automatically think about, but it's such a cost-saving thing to do. And again, you're like buying what's already in the waste stream, which is great. So those are all the things from the estate sale. Let's talk about a few thrifted things. Most of the thrifted things that I've shown recently, I've shown on Instagram, like from Goodwill or Savor, so you can check those out if you want. But a few decor pieces that I don't think I've shown yet. Well, actually I have shown this on TikTok and Instagram. A cute little bowl. This one's made in Japan. I love these little, I forget what they're called, the little floral bowls. I put my rings in this. Again, a while ago when I was at Goodwill, I thrifted a bunch of these mason jars. These are the half-pint ones. This has been like washed, and like this is my oat milk powder in here right now. But I love the shape. I feel like it can be hard to find. Usually the small ones are like the quilted ones, which are fine, but I prefer just like the straight-sided jars. And I use these for spices. I can take these to my refill shop and refill them with spices. And like I said, this is oat milk powder, which is a new refill to me, which is cool. So anyway, I love these. I love that they're stackable too. I do replace the lids because I cannot stand the canning lids. Unless I use them, you know, for like actually canning, but for everyday use of like storage, they get rusty, they get dingy and gross and I just can't stand them. So these are solid stainless steel ones, and I do throw the other ones away and replace them with these, but that's just me. Okay, and lastly, we're gonna talk about my first experience at the Goodwill bins. The Goodwill bins I went to were in Portland, Oregon. I went with some family up there, and if you've never been to the bins, everything's sold by weight. So you go in, it's usually like a huge building, and they have these carts, like these big plastic, like almost tubs, but they're on wheels. And when you go in, there's like tubs everywhere, but then there's like the new ones that they roll in. So when that happens, you have to stand back and there's like a little line. You have to stand behind the line and everyone has to wait until the full, there's like 2 or 3, no, there's more, maybe like 4 or 5 tubs in one row. And when the new ones are coming out, you have to wait and you can't grab anything until the last tub is in place. And then it's like a frenzy and everyone's just like digging through these tubs. So from what I've heard, this is stuff that hasn't sold at Goodwill for a certain amount of time, and then it's all brought to this distribution center that's then sold by weight. But then I've also heard from other people that sometimes the donation centers will get overrun and some of the stuff will just go directly to the Goodwill bins, so it hasn't even been in the store. So people have said before, like, oh, like how do you find stuff if this is all just like leftovers from the store? Well, sorry to say, there's so much junk everywhere. There's like more than any one person could ever buy. So there is good stuff at the bins, even though it might be leftover, whatever. Some of it apparently is just like straight donations too. I just didn't even know what to expect because I've never shopped at a place that was sold by weight before, but I ended up getting 5 things for $8. Which for me, living in Southern California, is cheap. Like I could not go to any thrift store, even like the garage sale that I went to was not that cheap. And I feel like I found some great stuff. So let's get into it. Let's see what I found. The first thing that I found was this. So actually I have 2 of them. One of them is oh, you can see right there on my front door. So I saw these coming out in just like one of the bins of random stuff, and this was one of the bins that I stood at to be one of the first people to like dig through it. So this was kind of like coming up, and I saw it looked like a I think it's called a Bolga basket, like the kind of woven baskets that I'm obsessed with. But they both had these little handles on them. This one had a broken handle that ended up, like when I pulled it out of the bin, it fell off. And then I took both of these handles were broken, so I took both of them off. But I don't actually know what these were. My sister said they might have been like placemats, but that doesn't really explain the handles. Maybe some sort of tray, but they kind of go up in the center. I don't know if you can see that. So they're absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what they were or are. This one I feel like is so cute on my front door because it has the bloom. And then I just have this one on my little bookcase in the kitchen behind my jars. And I think it looks really cute. So to clean those, I did bring those home in my suitcase in a trash bag, and then I cleaned them at home. I just sprayed them down outside and I soaked them in some water and vinegar. And then I soaked them in some water and soap and kind of went back and forth. And then I let them dry in the sun, and that made me feel like they were clean. I don't know. That's what I did, and it's fine. I'm pretty sure all the clothes that I bought were from just not one bin, but one row that I was waiting for. So anyway, you'll see that they're all kind of in the same color palette too, which is fun. So this is a cute little top. It's actually by Prana, which is a brand that I've seen at REI before. I just love that it's kind of 70s, like ringer tee, and I love how the front and the back are different. Seems like it's in great shape. It's 100% cotton. Love it. Very cute, right? So that was okay, and then it just gets better from there. So I have this on a hanger because, I don't know, I just do. I saw this fabric and I thought it might be vintage. I just grabbed it and threw it in my cart to assess later. This is actually, and I thought it was vintage too because I couldn't find the tag for a while. This is actually the back of it and this is the front, and it's from Everlane. So you're supposed to wear it like this, but I actually wear it backwards because I like the open neck a little bit. I don't like things super tight around my neck. This dress is so cute. It's a little bit short for me. I've worn this on TikTok if you follow me there. Sorry, I have a screen right here. I need to stop looking there and look at you. I wore this on TikTok and I mentioned that it is a little bit short and a little bit balloony, but I still wear it because I think it's so cute and it's so comfortable. But I think I am going to hem it, like take it down a little bit because it has this almost like 4-inch seam allowance there. Like I said, I do wear it backwards and I don't think that affects how it looks. I think it's super cute still. So that's my little Everlane dress that I got for like $1.60. And then the last thing that I got, I feel like is the most special. Again, I just saw this fabric and grabbed it. I didn't know what it was until later. So this is my little, almost like Vera Bradley looking, here, I'll put it on for you. How about that? So it's a little coat. And I say Vera Bradley because, I don't know, it reminds me of that kind of like quilted cotton deal, but it's reversible. So here it is like this. It's this really pretty paisley pattern on the other side. My sister actually did Google Lens, like you can take a picture of something and it'll like show you other things that are similar online. And she found someone selling this on Etsy for $100. Like I got this for $1. And they said that it was vintage on Etsy, but I just don't know how you'd be able to tell because there's no tag. I feel like if it's vintage, it's like vintage from the 90s, which pains me to say is vintage, but technically it is because it's over 20 years old. I wear this all the time. I love the little square pockets. It's great to put your phone in. And yeah, that's everything I got from the Goodwill bins. I hope you were inspired by this video. Let me know what your favorite find was. For me, it's a tie between my little front door medallion and my quilted jacket. And I actually really like this too. So those are the 3 things that are my favorite. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any requests for other videos you'd like to see from me, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.